What's going on, everybody? It's your man Lucky. I'm back again. Y'all know how I do. Man, I want to talk a little bit about the word commitment, okay? I want to talk about the word commitment, okay? Commitment is very, very, very important in a relationship, okay? Without a commitment, I mean, I really don't know what type of relationship there is. I guess a casual relationship, you kind of come and go as you please, or just kind of in and out whenever we want. But I'm talking about commitment when it comes to long-term relationship or marriage, okay? The number one thing that you need in a marriage, the number one thing that you need in a long-term relationship is a commitment. Because again, if you don't have a commitment, what do you have? You just have two people that are just willy-nilly just doing whatever they want to do, coming and going how they please. And I mean, I guess that's a casual relationship, but hey, I'm not into casual relationships. I don't know if you guys are into casual relationships or not. And if you are, then that's fine. But this right here, I'm talking about commitment when it comes to long-term relationships and when it comes to marriage. Okay, commitment is very important. Okay, it's the one thing that you decide that you are going to do. Now, commitment is like having a strong belief in an idea or in a system, right? So the idea is the marriage, okay? The system is the system of marriage, okay? Before you can commit to anything, you have to fully believe in it. You have to fully believe in it. You can't commit to something that you don't believe in. It doesn't make sense. Guys, if you don't believe in marriage, if you don't believe that you can commit to one woman, if you don't believe that you can, hold yourself to one individual, just fully dedicate yourself, then don't do it. Okay? Don't do it. Because that's what a commitment is, okay? It's basically it's total dedication to something. Okay? Fellas, if you can't totally commit yourself to a woman, don't do it. Just don't do it. It doesn't make sense, and you're only gonna run into problems down the line. Okay? So don't do it. People don't want to be played with, okay? People take offense, okay? And they take it really personal when they commit to you, but then you're not committed to them, okay? Man, commitment is, how can I say? Commitment is like an obligation that restricts freedom of action or abandoning all exit strategies, okay? So an obligation that restricts freedoms, okay? Let's talk about it a little bit, okay? An obligation that restricts freedoms, right? So now, when you commit yourself to someone, right, you are restricting your freedom to other people, okay? When you commit yourself to a marriage, that means you're dedicated to that one person, that other person that's in that marriage, okay? You have to understand that. So you give up all other freedoms, okay? You give up all other freedoms. You have to understand that. Also, when it comes to giving up all of those freedoms, you have to understand that you are abandoning all exit strategies, okay? Now, when I break it down like that, right, commitment, like people say that they commit or they say that they're committed until they're not committed. Like that's one of the things that we really have to understand when it comes to commitment. There's no timeline on commitment, right? So I'm the type of person, when I commit, I commit. Like there is no non-committed, or I don't commit until I'm no longer committed. When I commit, I commit. And I'm definitely talking about relationships, okay? So when you commit, that's what it means. You commit for as long as it takes to get it right. If you're in a relationship and your relationship is not going the way you want it to go, you keep working on it until you get it right. You don't just say, hey, you know what? Times is getting tough. I'm out. Okay? But this is what happens. This is what happens. People commit until they're no longer committed. Okay, let me say that again. People commit until they're no longer committed. So, for people to commit, typically they have to be getting something back in return. Okay? Fellas, you're going to commit to a woman. Okay? You're going to commit to your spouse, but typically you commit as long as she's doing what you need her to do, as long as she's giving you what it is you need for her to give you. Okay, as soon as she's not giving it to you anymore, okay, well, you know what, this ain't going how I plan, I'm out. But that's not what it's supposed to be. That's not what a commitment is. You understand what I'm saying? That's not what a commitment is supposed to be. But again, hey, listen, like I said, people commit for as long as they commit, and that's it. Once they're not getting out of it what they're putting into it or what they feel they're putting into it, that's it. They no longer commit. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, some people commit until they see something prettier come along. Oh man, look at her. Let me try my chin. Let me see what I can do over there. Oh, okay. Now you over there doing that. What happened to that commitment that you have? Restricting yourself of all other freedoms. You understand what I'm saying? So this is what commitment means. And I think a lot of people are taking commitment they're taking it too lightly. They're not really, it's like, yeah, as long as everything is good, then I'm committed. But as soon as things go bad, I'm no longer committed. You know what I'm saying? That's not how I came up. I don't know, nowadays when people get married, like I said, they commit until they just no longer committed. Commitment is temporary. I've never seen commitment as temporary. I've always seen commitment as, permanent. Like, but I don't know if there's a timeline on commitment. You know what I'm saying? Is there a timeline on commitment? I guess maybe there is. I guess commitment is only as good as for the length of time that you committed. And this is what commitment means. While I am committed, these are the things that I will do. There's not necessarily a timeline on the commitment. It's just saying, while I am committed, this is what I'm going to do. These are the things that I'm going to do while I am committed. However, once I'm no longer committed, I will no longer do those things. Maybe that's how commitment works. I don't know. I have it twisted. You know what I'm saying? I was always under the impression that commitment had a timeline to it. But, I guess it doesn't work like that. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Does commitment have a timeline to it? Or is commitment simply saying, hey, I decide to do this until this is no longer working for me, then I'm going to decide not to do it. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what commitment means to you, then fine. Just make sure when you get into a committed relationship with somebody that you have the conversation first about, hey, listen, this is what commitment means to me. This is what commitment is. This is what I see as a commitment. Make sure the two of you are on the same page as far as, what commitment is, especially if you're going to take it to the next step and go from, maybe a committed relationship to, the next step to marriage. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that y'all have that conversation so that y'all, y'all both are on the same page, right? So another thing, commitment is a choice. It is a choice. You choose to commit. It doesn't mean that you're going to get back from your partner what it is that you're putting in. You understand what I'm saying? That breaks a lot of relationships. A lot of people feel like, hey, my partner is not putting in what I'm putting in, or my partner is not matching my work. You have to be careful with that. You have to be careful with that, because just because your perception is that your partner is not putting in the same amount of work that you're putting in, you could be wrong. You have to look at what your partner does and what your partner has to give up to do those things. See, some people have it easy. And so to do certain things for their partner, it's just easy. It's easier to do. For other people, certain things don't come as easy. So when one partner is not matching the other partner's work, the partner who is perceived to be putting in more work is like, my partner's not meeting me. But you don't know what your partner has to do to get to just be able to do what it is that they are doing. It's hard to explain, but I'll explain it. I'll talk a little bit, I guess, about okay, let's talk about work, right? So you and your spouse work, right? You and your partner, y'all both have jobs, y'all go to work. However, one partner works 8 hours a day, the other partner works, may have 2 jobs, and they may be working, 14, 15 hours a day, right? And so the partner that only works 8 hours a day may say, oh man, my spouse doesn't spend as much time, I'm available, and they're not spending time, and this is an issue because this, that, and the third. But it's difficult for that partner to spend time because they work 14, 15, maybe 16 hours a day. So you're looking at it as like, I make myself available Why can't my spouse make themselves available? Hey, because your spouse works 2 jobs. They're not available for 16 hours out of the day. And then when they do get home, they only have a few hours of sleep. So boom, they go straight to sleep. And you're looking at it like, I feel as though my needs are not being met, which you're correct. Your needs are not being met. But you kind of got to look at the situation and take a little bit into consideration. Well, my partner does work, my spouse does work 16 hours a day. So how can we, compensate for the fact that they work so many hours and then I'm available and, my love language may be quality time. And so how can we work that out, right? So you just kind of got to look at what your partner can and can't do versus what you can and can't do before you say, your partner is not, committed to, whatever the case may be, okay? You just have to be careful, okay? Doesn't mean your partner's not committed, okay? It just simply means your partner doesn't have the means to do what you're able to do, okay? So we got to be careful with that, right? So remember, commitment is a choice. Remember that. We choose what we do. We choose to commit, okay? So I guess because it's a choice, hey, I guess that's kind of answering my question. If commitment is a choice, then you can choose to commit and then you can choose not to commit. I still don't know. I don't know. It's still, commitment just seems, man, like once you commit, man, that's just, it is what it is. But hey, look, people commit to go to the gym. They commit they're going to work out. First of the year comes around, New Year's resolution, everybody's going to commit to going to the gym. And then by March, the gym is empty again. And only the regulars that been going on a consistent basis, the one who have really committed, are the ones that are there April, through December. So, I don't know. Like I said, commitment is not automatically reciprocated. You know what I mean? It's once you decide that you're going to do it, just do it. And that's it. You're not always going to get back what you put in, but that's just the risk that you take. You know what I'm saying? When you put in, you have to put in because you want to put in. Don't just put in because you're looking for something in return. Okay? That's an unrealistic expectation. I'm just saying. That's really my opinion on that. Okay? And like I said, commitment is not everlasting. It's just like I said, for the most part, people commit for as long as they want to commit. And then once they don't want to commit, they just don't commit anymore. It's just turn on and then turn off. Turn the commitment on, turn the commitment off. You know what I mean? So I just want to talk about that a little bit, man. Commitment, man. Be careful when you get into, committed relationships. You got to understand that just because you're committing doesn't mean that your partner is committing. And it doesn't mean that they're going to commit for as long as you want to commit. And it doesn't even mean that they're going to do the things that they say they're going to do. You have to understand that, okay? You got to protect yourself at all times. Understand when you get into a committed relationship, just because it is a quote-unquote committed relationship, it doesn't mean that everything's going to go the way that you want it to go, okay? Just know that you get into it and you put into it what you want to put into it, and that's it. Just know that you're doing your part. You're doing what it is you want to do, okay? As soon as you're not getting back from it what you're putting in, and you feel like, hey, I'm not, this is not working, then, I guess at that point, maybe end the relationship. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's when the commitment ends. The commitment ends when the relationship ends. You know what I'm saying? Once the commitment ends, the relationship ends. Or once the relationship ends, the commitment ends. That's the order that it should be. End the relationship, and that's where to end the commitment. Don't end the commitment and then still just be in the relationship, just, you know what I'm saying? Figuring it out. Nah, that's not how it goes. No, there you go right there. You get into a committed relationship and you stay committed until the relationship is over. You stay committed to that relationship until the relationship is over. Period. Anything in between while that relationship is still going on and you're not committed, I mean, what's the point? You understand what I'm saying? What's the point? Now, if you feel like you're in a relationship and you can no longer commit and you have a conversation with your partner like, hey, listen, this relationship is not going how I want it to go, or I'm not fulfilled, or whatever the case may be, and you have that conversation with your partner, you say, listen, I'm having a tough time being committed to this relationship, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. That's great that you had the conversation. Just go on and end the relationship. That's all. Just end it. I mean, that's really what you're doing when you're saying that. You know, when you tell your partner you're no longer committed, it's like, huh? You know what I mean? So what are we doing? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's a nice way of breaking up with somebody by just telling them, you know, you're no longer committed. But look, I just want to talk about that commitment, man. A lot of people get into committed relationships and they think it's going to be forever, forever, ever, forever, ever. But it doesn't really work out like that, okay? But I mean, the commitment should last as long as the relationship lasts. Don't end the commitment and then still be in the relationship. You understand what I'm saying? End the relationship and let the relationship end the commitment, okay? Look, guys, that's all I really wanted to talk about. I appreciate your time, and I'll catch you on the next one.